Today we're going to tackle one of the hottest topics around, artificial intelligence, and more specifically AI in manufacturing. It's everywhere right now. ChatGPT, Copilot, AI enhanced tools, digital twins, and if you're working in operations, quality or continuous improvement, you've probably had the same thought as me. Should I be using this stuff? And if so, how? This video will walk you through exactly that, with real examples, a few live demos, and a big reminder. AI is here to support lean, not to replace people, processes or structured thinking. In fact, badly used, AI can waste more time than it saves. But when you apply it well, it's a fantastic assistant. I'm Trevor. I've worked in manufacturing for over 25 years, and over the past 2 years I've been testing AI to see what value it can bring to manufacturing. Let's get into this. Manufacturing businesses are under constant pressure from issues such as more product mix, higher customer expectations, fewer people with the right skills, and there's not much time to step back and think. When used right, AI helps you claw back some of that time. But here's the key: it doesn't do the thinking for you. It makes your thinking faster, better, and more structured. Think of AI like a sharp apprentice, very smart, but needs guidance. If you ask it vague questions, you get vague answers. If you feed it good prompts and a bit of context, it can massively accelerate things. So let's look at first example: writing or improving standard operating procedures. Let's face it, SOPs are often out of date, unclear, or just missing entirely, and nobody wants to write them from scratch. Here's how AI can help. Start with bullet points. So what are the steps, the key risks, the checks? Feed that into ChatGPT or our Smart Advice Manufacturing GPT and ask it, turn this into a structured SOP for a new operative. Then review and edit it. It'll give you 80% of the structure, including sections like purpose, tools required, health and safety, etc. AI will be really good in situations like you need a quick draft when training someone new, or you want to standardise formats across shifts or departments, or you might just want to speed up auditing the process or getting ready for a compliance check. As always, verify the final output on the shop floor. Don't copy and paste into production without walking the process. Let's take a look at this in action. Here I've asked AI to create an SOP for threading yarn onto a knitting machine. In a real life situation, you'd include lots more detail. But even with such a simple prompt, you can see it's created a starting point. And this is something you could use with the operatives to refine and build something really good. Another example might be producing a 5S audit. AI doesn't just create audits, it helps you build the system around them. So you could ask it, create a 5S audit for a tool room in a maintenance department. Or you might ask, suggest red tagging categories for a warehouse. Or you could give it data and say, turn this messy audit data into a chart for ease of presentation. So let's work through a demo now. Let's ask it to create a very basic audit which will take 10 minutes to complete. We'll ask for the audit to be relevant for a food manufacturing site that has BRC accreditation. And as you can see, the output is fantastic. We can also ask AI to turn this into an A4 audit document ready for us to use. Here we go. Looks amazing. You can tailor audits to different zones, teams or frequencies, and if you're running daily stand-ups or Gemba walks, it can even prep a talking point summary. My third example of using AI is to support problem solving. We've all hit a stumbling block when sat in a room doing fish bones and 5 whys and no one's quite sure where to go next. Here's what I've done with AI before. Feed it the problem statement, share known facts, a timeline and some of the symptoms, and then you can ask it to generate a fishbone diagram for possible causes. This ensures the work that you've done isn't missing something obvious. And then we can ask AI, what questions would you ask next? And that can lead us to different causal factors. And we can also ask AI to help us keep the situation under control by asking something like, suggest a containment action while root cause is confirmed. So let's try that. I've pasted into AI a scenario I use when training problem solving, and I've asked it for a 5W1H, a fishbone and a 5Y. It's had a good attempt. Due to the 5Y needed more information than I gave it. It's not perfect, but it's a really good place to start and would speed up that process and lead to a great outcome if this was used with the team in real time. You see, it's not replacing the problem solving, it's speeding it up and keeping it structured. Here's a bonus: if you're coaching junior engineers or CI leads, it helps them explore wider thinking without relying on all your time. Due to the large computing power of AI, it's really good at analysing data and spotting trends. AI shines when you've got data but not time. So for an example, let's say you've got 3 months of downtime logs, you've got some shift yield data, and you've got line stops by product or by material, and it includes operative data, and also line stops by product or material. You can take that data straight from Excel into ChatGPT or our Smart Advice Manufacturing GPT, and you'll quickly have patterns and potential problems to investigate further. As an example, I've created some data for a simulated factory, which might be very close to what you have. Generally, people have lots of data, but the information can be hidden, and conditional formatting doesn't really help. Let's upload the data and then ask AI a few questions. So first of all, let's ask it to give us a prioritised set of actions to tackle the poor performance of this production process. And here you can see we've got a nice set of areas and suggested actions for us to work on. Then we might ask for a Pareto chart to be created, which will help us share the findings with the team. This is great for visual management. And you can see quick as that, we've got a Pareto chart, which can be used on the shop floor. We could then ask, could you create me a league table of which operatives have the best and worst yield, and then the best and worst efficiency? We could also say, please show me which products have the worst yield. Now we have some information to support problem solving, such as looking at the practices and adherence to SOPs of our operatives, which might help us improve yield and efficiency. Even better, you can ask, draft a short PowerPoint presentation of this data for my ops director. It's not the finished article, but it's at least 80% of the way there. A strong caution at this point, always sanity check the insights. AI might misnuance or misrepresent codes. Now we get some really powerful parts of AI. So if you need to announce a process change, get operatives bought in, handle early resistance, you can ask AI to refine your thoughts on these things. So it could draft change bulletins, it could write a frequently asked questions document, and it can also adjust the tone of any briefings so they're more suitable for the audience. For example, if you're briefing operatives versus the exec team. Some examples might be, write a one-page summary of this change for the shop floor, focused on what's changing, why, and what people need to do. It's also brilliant for thinking about contingencies. So for example, we could ask the prompt, how might someone push back against this change, and how can I respond? And with that prompt, we now have thoughts that can help shape our responses. And these kind of exercises help prepare your leaders for real-world conversations, not just a slide deck. So moving on, let's talk about why we built the Smart Advice Manufacturing GPT. The standard ChatGPT is like a bright teenager, really clever, quick, but lacks real-world experience. Our custom GPT is trained on specific material, such as lean tools like SMED 5S Kaizen. In fact, it contains all the knowledge required to achieve a master black belt in Lean Six Sigma. It also knows a lot about quality systems, audits, and process control. And it also has actual factory examples. The way I like to think about it, it's like ChatGPT's older brother. Been to uni, spent 25 years in factories, knows how to work with operatives and hit KPIs. I'll add a link in the description if you'd like to try this out for yourself. It's free and I'd love to hear your feedback of your experience with it. Here's a warning to finish with. AI generated content is everywhere, and frankly, a lot of it is garbage. Lazy posts, templated PDFs, SOPs that sound like they were written by a robot. Because they were. Here's my advice. Use AI to enhance your thinking, not replace it. Always review, simplify, and make it yours. And if you're leading people, don't try to automate the human part. That's your job. So if you're curious about how AI could support your lean journey, whether it's SOPs, audits, problem solving, or just saving time, have a play with our Smart Advice GPT, or drop me a message if you want to talk through it properly. At Smart Advice, we believe change should be fast, practical, but grounded in the real world. AI fits right into that, but only when used wisely. Cheers for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more no-nonsense videos on real manufacturing improvement. See you next time.